Yeah. Does the Antichrist actually die and come back to life?
Well, I believe that he does. And there's a lot of people have problems with that because they'll say, well, only God can give life, and we're giving to Satan some power that only God has. But when we read Revelation 13, which is really the chapter in the Bible that gives us more information about the Antichrist than any other chapter, he's called there the beast from the sea. It says there 3 different times, or actually 3 or 4 times, that he has this fatal wound and he comes back to life, or he's slain and comes back to life. The word that's used there for him being slain is the same word used in Revelation 5 of Jesus being slain. And we know Jesus' death wasn't just a fake death and he seemed dead and came back to life. He was really dead. And the word that's used in Revelation 13 that this Antichrist is going to then come back to life is the same word used in Revelation 2 of Jesus coming back to life. So Jesus was slain and came back to life. He's going to be slain and come back to life. So I believe he's literally going to die and come back to life, which then raises the question, how can Satan have this power? And it seems to me that in this unique time of the tribulation, God is going to allow that to happen. Because 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says that when people reject God in the coming tribulation, God is going to send upon them a deluding influence, strong delusion. And so that could be part of this strong delusion. The tragedy is the people who reject Jesus, the Son of God, God in human flesh, who died and came back to life, are going to accept this imposter who dies and comes back to life, and they're going to believe that he is God.
That's a good description, and I think a lot of people would probably agree with that position. Just for full disclosure, the other side would argue that Satan does not have that power, that if he did, he certainly would have resurrected Antiochus Epiphanes to continue persecuting the Jews. He would have resurrected the Roman emperors so that they could continue to persecute not just Jews but Christians. He probably would have resurrected Hitler from the dead. And this position would argue that he appears dead, but is not really dead. Kind of like when Paul was stoned and left for dead, and he looked like he was dead in the book of Acts, but he wasn't really dead. And what I would say in regard to what Mark said, I agree with him. It would be a special time or a special occasion. Throughout the book of Revelation, we see different people, different individuals in the tribulation receiving divine authority to do something. So I guess the way that I would come down on this ultimately is to say that Satan does not have the intrinsic ability to raise from the dead. He is a creature with creaturely limitations. But it may be that God gives over to him this power for this one occasion. So it's not normative. And that's why we as theologians would say it's descriptive, not prescriptive. It's descriptive in the sense that it describes something that happens on this one occasion. It is not prescriptive in the sense that Satan could do this all throughout church history.
Yeah, because over and over again in Revelation 13, it says, and it was given to him, and it was given to him.
Right.
In other words, God is the one who is giving Antichrist the ability, or allowing him to have the ability to do these things. So
and false prophet as well.
Yeah, that may be a signal in the text to us that this is a power that's given one time, because I just don't think you can get around the same words used of Jesus' death and resurrection for him and say somehow it was somehow fake or counterfeit resurrection.